This meeting is called to order in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act. This meeting was included in a list of meeting dates sent to the Home News Tribune, the Star Ledger, and the Highland Park Planet on January 4th, 2017, and was posted on the bulletin board of Borough Hall, 221 South Fifth Avenue on January 4th, 2017, and has remained continuously posted as required by law. Fire exits are to my left and to my right. Please, when you come up to speak, speak into the microphones, and assistive listening devices are available. Mrs. Bickard, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's good to see some of you at our first after Labor Day meeting, and good to see you again. Hopefully some of the new faces will join us on a regular basis here. Roll call, please.
Mayor Brill-Mittler.
Here.
Councilman Fine.
Here.
Councilwoman Foster Dublin.
Here.
Councilman George. Councilman Hirsch.
Here.
Councilwoman Kim.
Here.
Councilwoman Welkowitz.
Here.
Borough Attorney.
Here.
Borough Administrator.
Okay. That's you.
Here.
May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the regular and conference meetings held May 16th, 2017, and the special meeting held on May 23rd, 2017 as distributed?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Fine.
Yes.
Councilwoman Foster Dublin.
Abstain.
Councilman Hirsch.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kim.
Yes.
Councilwoman Welkowitz.
Yes.
All right, we'll start with our council reports on my right. Councilwoman Kim, do you have a report?
Yes, I do. In regards to the Arts Commission, our window art walk is getting installed currently. We have 40 artists, 25 stores participating, and the window art crawl is set for Saturday, September 16th, with 3 tours, one starting at 4 p.m., 4:30 p.m., and 5 p.m. The New Brunswick Arts Council is looking to replicate our success with their own window art walk in New Brunswick mid-December. Members of our own Highland Park Arts Commission have attended a meeting of the New Brunswick Council to help out. The de-installation of the sculpture walk at the Environmental Center will take place on September 22nd. So if you haven't stopped by the sculpture walk, I encourage you to do so before the 22nd. The Arts Commission will have a table at the Arts in the Park and will present workshops in dance, haiku, and improv. They're also working to create a Band-Aid sculpture project for 2018. The project pays homage to Earl Dickerson, the inventor of the Band-Aid, and also aims to continue to build the link between Highland Park and New Brunswick. Calls for proposals for sculptors go out September 15th. For our senior center, please join us at the Highland Park Senior Center for a special presentation provided by Sustainable Highland Park. A film called Bag It will be shown with a discussion to follow about the dangers of plastic bags. This informative presentation will take place before our senior luncheon that will be held on Tuesday, September 12th at 11 a.m. After lunch, enjoy musical entertainment from Don Anthony. On Wednesday, September 13th, some of our seniors will be participating in Middlesex County Senior Health and Fitness Walk from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Roosevelt Park in Edison. The flu clinic will take place at the Senior Youth Center on Wednesday, September 27th from 10:30 a.m. to 12 noon. This is provided by our local Rite Aid pharmacy, and please call the Senior Center for details, and walk-ins are welcome if you don't make an appointment. Last Wednesday afternoon, we received our new medical van. This van will allow 2 handicapped residents to be transported at any time, along with 3 additional passengers. And the seniors have an upcoming trip Tuesday, September 26th at the PNC Arts Center. It's their senior concert series, and if you would like to attend, please call the Senior Center for more details. And classes have begun for adult programming and for recreation, and also for the youth fall soccer. And something new that we're offering is art classes this year for the 3rd and 6th graders. You can stop in the recreation department to get more details. And that is it for my report.
Thank you. One thing I'd like to add, Earl Dickinson, who you mentioned was the inventor of the Band-Aid, was also a Highland Park resident.
Yes, well, that's why that's why we came up with the project, because yes, that is true. Thank you.
No problem. Councilman Hirsch?
Thank you, Mayor. Today, President Trump attempted to pull another thread out of the fabric of our communities by announcing that he would end President Obama's Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, or DACA, in 6 months. Unless Congress steps in, ending the program could put nearly 800,000 undocumented young people at risk of deportation and unable to work legally within their when their 2-year permits expire. This has potentially catastrophic effects on our community and on the greater community. These are 800,000 young people in our communities who felt less marginalized, less disenfranchised, and less fearful because they were promised inclusion and access to inclusion. But no longer, fear and dogma rule the day, particularly on issues of immigration. Policies guided by fear and exclusion are morally and socially wrong. Wrap those policies in cloaks of security or economic stability, and it is especially duplicitous. The President said today that, quote, "Before we ask what is fair to illegal immigrants, we must also ask what is fair to American families, students, taxpayers, and job seekers," unquote. First, it's critical to note that no human is, quote, illegal. And second, being an American family, student, taxpayer, job seeker, and undocumented resident are not mutually exclusive. Nevertheless, let's make an economic argument for inclusion as well. Establishing inclusive communities that protect its residents is good for the economy, particularly in New Jersey, where Hispanics are solely responsible for New Jersey's population growth since 2010, with the Hispanic population growing while the non-Hispanic population remains stagnant or has declined. A recent U.S. Hispanic Chamber of Commerce study reported that Hispanic consumers contributed more than $1.3 trillion to the U.S. To the United States economy in 2016, and that sales from Hispanic-owned businesses contribute more than $668 billion to the U.S. economy, an increase of 29% since 2012, and nearly twice the total in 2007. Hispanics contribute an estimated $46 billion in purchasing power to the state economy. In Middlesex County alone, we've seen nearly a 45% increase in the Hispanic population since 2000, with Latinos comprising 18% of the county's population. If your representatives are opposed to policies of inclusion or any other policy that is intended to protect residents from living in dignity while providing necessary access to full documented status, you don't have to go far to figure out the motive, because it's not an economic motive. It's also important to note that this is an administration that hesitated to offer a full condemnation of white supremacists in Charlottesville and issued an unprecedented midterm pardon of Joe Arpaio, former sheriff of Maricopa County, Arizona, who was recently convicted of regularly violating the rights of Latinos, stopping people based on racial profiling, detaining them based solely on suspicion that they were in the country illegally, and turning them over to the immigration authorities. But now is our time. If Congress doesn't act, families will be torn apart, and young people will be forced back to the countries that they don't even know, and our economy will lose billions of dollars. We are fortunate that our Borough Council and that our district's representatives in Congress, Representative Frank Pallone, is in support of DACA. But please call your representative's office to encourage either Congressman Pallone or whatever district you live in to work with the colleagues across the aisle to pass a DREAM Act that will allow our immigrant youth to no longer be marginalized and part of an inclusive community. It's easy for an ideologue to speak from the penthouse, but on the ground we have the power, and I'm optimistic that even with considerable hurdles, we will win. This is why the work this mayor and council is doing, and so many of us in the community are doing, is so essential in chipping away at intolerance, and more important, learning from intolerance, even when it's from within. In this spirit, we encourage everyone to attend our second annual September 11th Day of Discussion with this year's theme, Standing Up in the Face of Hate. We are honored to welcome Charlottesville, Virginia Vice Mayor Dr. Wes Bellamy as our featured speaker for this event, during which we will examine these complexities in our diverse society and the steps that we can take to combat hate and intolerance in the future. No stranger to controversy, Vice Mayor Bellamy will discuss his own experience with personal intolerance and his journey to racial and cultural acceptance in a city that has emerged as the topical flashpoint for racial division and anti-Semitism. We're also thrilled to have Elizabeth Williams Riley, President and CEO of the New Brunswick-based American Conference on Diversity, who will conduct a community dialogue forum to assist the borough in its efforts to build stronger alliances among diverse community members. The focus will be on raising awareness to engage diverse community leaders in efforts to create a more inclusive community, and participants will be given the opportunity to explore ways to combat bias, bigotry, and hate. As a result of the training, participants will develop innovative approaches to manage challenging dynamics of diversity that can ultimately build stronger, inclusive community partnerships. The day of discussion will take place this Tuesday, September 11th, 7 p.m. at the Highland Park High School Auditorium. Please come. I would like to thank Mayor Gail Borough-Mittler and the Highland Park Human Relations Commission for facilitating this program and organizing it in relatively short order. The newly constituted Commission on Immigrant and Refugee Affairs will host its first meeting next Tuesday, September 12th, 7 p.m., right here in the Berman Conference Room across the hall at Borough Hall. Please come. The Highland Park Housing Authority will hold its regular meeting next Wednesday, September 13th, 6:30 p.m. in the Samuel J. Kronman Building on 242 South 6th Avenue. Please come. The Highland Park Board of Health will get back into full gear for the fall next Thursday, September 14th, 7 p.m. here in the lower level conference room at Borough Hall, just downstairs. Please come. And I'd also just like to I'd like to welcome two tremendous residents, Julie Luck and Stephen Galante, to our Human Relations Commission and to our Cable TV Advisory Committee, respectively. I got to know Julie, and they're here, which is very cool. I got to know Julie over the last year or so after she and her family moved to town. And our first discussion took place on Election Day of last year, and she expressed her excitement about living and being part of such a progressive town. She very quickly became involved with the Highland Park Parents of Students of Color, a community group, and we are so fortunate to have her perspective and energy on the Human Relations Commission. Thank you, Julie. I got to know Stephen through my volunteer work with the Citizens Campaign, and as the Citizens Campaign's communications coordinator, Stephen brings the same journalistic, real news, go figure, perspective to municipal government that embodies the spirit of providing transparent government as a means of achieving an engaged community. I'm really excited that you're here and working with Gary, and it's pretty awesome. Thank you. Finally, I'm happy to, I'm thrilled that we're reappointing Diane Ray to the Highland Park Housing Authority. Her expertise and encyclopedic knowledge of every bit of Highland Park minutia is truly invaluable. She has helped me on so many times with just either little information or enormous wisdom, kind of whatever you want, you know. I look forward to learning more from all of you. Thank you. That's my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Councilwoman Foster Dublin.
Sure. Okay. Well, as we all are aware, we have seen the effects of the hurricane season, and keeping that in mind, that we here in Highland Park must be prepared as well. And tonight I'm just going to talk about being prepared for whatever hurricane may come our way, as there is a hurricane that's raising itself in the Florida area, and we might get residuals. And it's the same thing that we go through every year. On our police department website, there's information under the Office of Emergency Management and Preparedness. There is information that you can receive about how to be prepared, such as people who are taking medication, make sure that you put your medication in a safe place. One of those places could be as easy as a Ziploc bag in your refrigerator, write medication on it, so if you ever have to be evacuated, there's a place that they would go and they would just retrieve that medication, and you could be going and you would be on your way. If you have prescriptions, you can make copies of those prescriptions, put it also in that Ziploc bag, so in case you can't get to your medication, it's there for you. Please try to have some kind of communication devices, such as a radio where you can listen. A transistor radio would be good. I know they're outdated, but a transistor radio would be good with some batteries so you can know what's going on. Canned food, make sure you have canned food available, just to sustain, even as peaches or what have you. And tuna fish is really important if in the unfortunate event that you're shut in and we can't get to you, then if you had like peanut butter, tuna fish, and everything else like that, then you would be sustained in your home. There's a lot more information that can be had on the Office of Emergency Management website. We'll be sending out a NICSA letter about that information as well. So anyone who is interested, that information is there so you can be prepared in the unfortunate event if we had one of these events here that would affect us. Next month is going to be Fire Prevention Month as well, so I'm going to be passing out more information as it deals with fire prevention, keeping us all safe, and as we turn our clocks back to daylight saving time, then more information is going to be followed. This week, our kids will go back to school, started on Friday. And as our children go back to school, we want to remind everyone to be extra careful when they're driving around town, because the kids are going to be walking, and sometimes they don't pay the attention that they should while they're walking. So we have to pay that attention for them. And one of the things that I would like to express, not just to the students, or to our kids, I should say, but to everyone, please utilize the sidewalks where you can. Please do not walk in the street, because at this time of year, people walk in the street. As the weather changes, they're hard to see folks, especially when people are wearing dark clothing. So please remember to utilize the sidewalk where you can. And I know Mrs. Bickert is going to say about our sidewalks, we're working on that. But utilize the sidewalks where we can, and keep each and every one of us safe. Safety is the order of the day, so let's try to find a way to keep all of us safe and secure here in Highland Park. I will follow up with a NICSO about the hurricane. I will follow up about Fire Prevention Month, and whatever information that it comes to public safety, that will be made available. That's my report. Thank you.
Councilman Fine, do you have a report?
I do not have a report, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Council President Welkowitz?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I have many things to announce. First, I just have to point out, Councilman Hirsch, thank you very much, and Mayor, for organizing the 9/11 day of discussion with the special speakers that you've organized. Vice Mayor Bellamy seems to me to have been a direct target of neo-Nazism. In this day and age, it's horrifying that this is happening. I look forward to listening to him share his experiences, and I know that our community will welcome him. On a lighter note, our community, with a vibrant downtown and Main Street, we pride ourselves on our walkable community, offering residents close proximity to downtown shops and services and public transportation. Therefore, we have declared September as Safe Walking and Cycling Month in Highland Park. During this month, we've organized several special events for all ages and activities. And as Councilwoman Foster Dublin mentioned, that it's back to school time now. So this month, we will be revisiting the Paint the Pavement program again. Our Safe Walking and Cycling Committee, in conjunction with Public Safety, will be looking at a few intersections and painting them with stencils to help bring more awareness to pedestrians that might not be paying attention, but also as a reminder to all vehicles. Please stop at the stop line when you're entering an intersection. There are pedestrians, there are bicyclists out there. Please be careful. On Friday, September 8th, the Safe Walking and Cycling Committee will have a booth at our farmers market, and we'd look forward to seeing you visit our booth. We'd like to explain to you a lot of the programs that we have planned, let you know why we're doing some of these important initiatives, and you're welcome to join us on any of these things, and if you'd like to get involved, we'd love to have you. On Sunday, September 10th, we are going to be painting a temporary demonstration bike lane on South First Avenue. We'll be chalk painting temporary bike lanes, barriers, and parking spots on South First Avenue during the morning, starting at 6 a.m. You can join us from 10 o'clock on at 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. We'll be congregating in the Unity Bank parking lot, thanks to our friends at Unity Bank for that, and we'll have a guided bike ride down to Donaldson Park. If you have any questions about this, you can visit the Borough website or contact us at hpswacc@gmail.com. On Monday, September 11th, we're having a walking group for seniors starting at 8:30 a.m. Councilwoman Kim, you're actually part of that through our senior programming. That's in conjunction with Jan Verstrade, who's part of our Safe Walking and Cycling Committee. He's also the walking ambassador for our town. On Wednesday, September 13th, thanks to Mayor Gail Brill-Mittler, her 7 a.m. morning walk will be a special window art walk. On Monday, September 18, we'll be showing a safety video for seniors at 11 a.m. I believe that's in the Senior Center. And on Wednesday, September 27, we're hosting a bike rodeo from 4 to 6:30 p.m. In the parking lot behind Bartle School. Everyone is welcome. We'll be sending out more information on all of these events later this week. And at the bike rodeo, we'll have Keep Middlesex Moving, our nonprofit for traffic safety in the county. Robert Wood Johnson Trauma Center will be on hand. There'll be helmet fitting and teaching rules of the road, and we look forward to you joining us. Additionally, I have some more things. We've been busy all summer planning these. Our townwide garage sale is this month on September 16th and 17th. Don't miss the annual townwide garage sale, where you can sign up now at hpgaragesale@gmail.com and get your name listed on the list that can be picked up at Century 21. And this is a great opportunity for you to declutter your home or maybe upcycle some things. Please note that we've scheduled our bulk garbage pickups to happen after the garage sale. Also important this month is September 24th, our Big Arts in the Park Festival. It is the only juried art festival in the area. There's lots to do for kids, there's food, there's music, there's arts and crafts to purchase, and as Councilwoman Kim mentioned, there's going to be a lot of demonstrations as well. So please save the date and join us for that. And also, you can advertise your business to every Highland Park resident in the Main Street mailer. Please go to www.mainstreethp.org for information on any of these. And lastly, a couple of meetings coming up. Our Highland Park Redevelopment Agency meets this Thursday, September 7th at 7:30 p.m. Our Safe Walking and Cycling Committee meets next Wednesday, September 13th at 7 p.m. And our Planning Board meets Thursday, September 14th at 7:30 p.m., all at Borough Hall. Please join us. Thank you.
Thank you. Borough Administrator, do you have a report?
Not a lengthy one, just a couple of reminders. We're back, our summer hours have ended, for those of you who are aware of our summer hours. And so we're now back to a Monday through Friday. 8 to 4 Mondays, 8 to 6 Tuesdays, 8 to 4 Wednesday and Thursday. I'm looking at Joan just to make sure I don't screw up, and 8 to 1 on Fridays. So for those of you for whom that's an issue, you know, that's our schedule. And I just wanted to, it kind of buried in a resolution later, but we're excited to welcome our new Assistant Finance Officer next week, Nerea LaFontaine. So we're excited. We've got that position filled, and that's probably all I have to offer.
Okay, thank you. Borough Attorney, do you have a report?
No report, Madam Mayor.
All right, I have just a couple of brief things. Several of my colleagues have mentioned the 9/11 event that we have coming up this week. Those of you who have been in town since that horrific attack on our soil in 2001 know how this community has turned out to remember that event. After that event, the entire country came together. And that was wonderful, and we have a tendency as humans to come together when tragedy strikes. We have to learn to come together when things are good. And I'm delighted and honored that Dr. Wes Bellamy, the Vice Mayor of Charlottesville, is going to be joining us for that evening. Dr. Bellamy's own personal story is one of hope and encouragement, and I hope that all of you will come out and to hear what he has to say, and then join our groups to discuss how to make communication and tolerance a part of our everyday lives. And that's all I'm going to say right now about that, because Matt, you did speak beautifully on the event. I am walking, as Council President Welkowitz mentioned, on September 13th this month. We'll be meeting at 7 a.m. and we'll be meeting on the corner of South Adelaide and Raritan so that we can walk the town this time and take in all the window art that will be on display. So I hope you'll join me. I know August was every date that we put on the calendar seemed to rain the night before, and the park was flooded, and so we just couldn't do it. So I'm hoping that this September and downtown becomes a reality. The last thing I want to mention is our HP Gives a Hoot fund is still active and vibrant and collecting donations. Last year, as you know, we gave out in excess of 200 lunches to children who could not otherwise have had a nutritious lunch when school was not in session. With cooperation with the schools, already this year, we can see that there has been a significant increase in the number of children whose parents are signing them up for these lunches. So your donations are sorely needed. We do, in a typical Highland Park sustainable way, we do have the lunches provided by the Global Grace Cafe, which in turn provides jobs to recent refugees and immigrants to the community so that they can sustain themselves. So please, if you would like to see some more information about HP Gives a Hoot, you can visit the Facebook page, which says HP Gives a Hoot, or you can give me a call or visit the Borough website. All right, public discussion. Does anybody have something they would like to say?
Yes.
Just when you're ready to, just step up to the microphone. Please state your name and address.
Herb Gross, Adelaide Avenue, Adelaide Gardens. This past week, this entire nation has witnessed a terrible tragedy in the state of Texas and Louisiana. I believe that everyone here has been watching television, so I really don't have to go into what's taken place. But I want to tell everyone that the American Legion and the Veterans of Foreign Wars have coordinated their services, and have sent millions and millions of dollars and items to these very unfortunate people. And I would like everyone in attendance and everyone that's watching this on TV to open up your hearts, whether you give 25 cents or 50 cents or whatever, to help these unfortunate people. These people are your brothers and sisters. They're my brothers and sisters, and they need our help. And I would like to see in Highland Park some sort of committee that I would gladly help to coordinate something that we can help these unfortunate people in Texas. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gross. One second, just thank you for reminding us about the tragedy down there, Mr. Gross. One of the things, I've been in touch with a woman who's running one of the shelters down there, and one of the things that they are in desperate need of is caseworkers. And so she's going to let us know when the planes are making their way to Houston, when they're allowed to accept flights and people to come in, so that, because we have a large number of social workers in our community, so that we can put out a call for them and see if we can get them down to Houston. So thank you for that reminder. Councilwoman Foster Dublin, did you want to say something?
I was also going to add to that there's local community efforts that's being done through the houses of worship. I know the Reformed Church of Highland Park, that they have a collection that they're doing, and they're putting an effort out as well. So you can also reach out to them, and they can be a resource of how you can help or how you can contribute.
Thank you. Any other public discussion right now? Please step up to the microphone and state your name and address.
Hi, my name is Peter Avery, 402 Graham Street, Highland Park. Thank you for letting me speak here, and thank you for the words about what happened in Charlottesville. It's very powerful. Thank you, Matt. I'm here to speak about the deer on the south side. We have a real issue as neighbors. I'm representing a lot of people on the block who, if we needed to, could write and let you know. But you live in Highland Park, you see it. There's a number of deer. Actually, I don't know if it's the same deers that just kind of are more comfortable. But we're on the corner of 4th and Graham, just a block away from Donaldson, and then just right down the lane to Valentine. We have a corner lot with the hedging, and we have 2 little girls, and literally every day I'm chasing deer, 3 to 5 deer away. They're so comfortable they're actually laying down in our yard. And the sad thing is that deer are very cute and adorable, but the problem is that they also can carry ticks, and there's feces all over our yard from the deer, and our kids are afraid to go outside. They walk out to go to school, and there's deer right on our yard, and every morning I have to chase them away, and they walk into the street into other neighbors' yards. So I'm here kind of a plea for help. I know other towns have been dealing with this also. And I know from friends of mine in Georgia, it can get actually really out of hand. Right now it's kind of annoyingly cute, frustrating. But there have been some towns where deer have gotten so comfortable they've broken into store windows and done damage to property, etc. And as a father and as a neighbor, I don't want my kids getting ticks from being in their own yard.
Well, I thank you for coming in this evening to bring that here. We have been discussing this in council. I'm going to ask if either Councilwoman Foster Dublin or the Borough Administrator have any more information on this.
I know it's not even a town-wide problem now. It's a county-wide problem because they're everywhere. Unfortunately, we see what happens when they try to cross the highways and everywhere. Everywhere you go, you see them. I see them walking down my street. They're a family, and they just just walk. They just stroll everywhere, and everyone don't want to hurt them and don't want to hit them when driving, but they're darting out all over the place. With that being said, that has been a concern. As a matter of fact, Councilmember Fine has been on a campaign about what are we going to do with our deer population. I have made numerous phone calls to the Fish and Game and Wildlife in Trenton, and I'm waiting for someone to get back to us to deal with. It's not unique to us, but it's a problem and it's a concern for us. So I'm waiting for someone to reach back out to me so we can sit down and have a conversation about how do we attempt to contain the problem, so to speak. So we're actively working on it. I put a phone call in. I was on vacation last week. The week before I left for vacation, I put a phone call in as well. So I'm still waiting for some kind of a response because we want to do something about it before it totally gets out of hand. So we'll keep you posted
I know
as the finding.
I know it's a difficult situation because you want to be sensitive to certainly living creatures and animals. But the problem is that we're not doing them any good either in terms of when the cold comes and things like that. So, not to mention the shrubbery and the vegetation and the plants that they're destroying
Right.
for other people.
Right.
So I don't know, sterilization, there's things that people have done in other towns. Hopefully there's some...
We actually we had a discussion with the county, and they know it's a problem because they're experiencing all over Middlesex County, so they know it's a problem. So it's the approach of how we can handle it that's what I'm looking into. Because if you walk in the meadows, when you walk by the meadows or the the road that leads there, all the fences are always knocked down. So I'm always sending Councilmember George saying, the fences are down, we need to restore them. But every time they go up, that they knock them over. So it's an expense to us as well. So it's definitely something that we want to get some remedies for.
And also, just on a personal note, for the first time, we actually had a buck visit us, and it's not cute when they come with those big horns.
Yeah, we've had a couple of them. And people always call and say, hey, do you know you have deer? Yes, I know I have deer. Separately, side note, Mayor, we met at OQ about a year ago. I'm a theater person.
Yes.
So if and when I don't know what the status is of the potential performing arts center,
Yes.
and we used to serve on the arts committee many years ago before I started having to take care of my parents. But I'm more than happy, again, as Peter Avery, to be part of
Yes,
that
I have your
conversation.
card. Thank you.
Helped bring it in Silver Spring, AFI, and all that kind of stuff. So
That'd be great. Thank you.
We're going to be
Things
reaching out
move
to you very
slowly
soon.
in government.
yeah, no, I know. I work for the government. I work for the New York City Department of Education. So
Right, okay.
one of the largest bureaucracies there are.
Right.
So
right.
thank you. But I appreciate
I'll
that,
reach out.
and I'll follow up in terms of
Okay.
what's happening with the deer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Peter.
Okay. Clerk, would you report on advertising the capital ordinance amendment for consideration of passage on final reading by title?
Capital ordinance amending and restating ordinance number 15/1896 adopted by the Borough Council in December 2015, providing for the acquisition of a generator for the Senior Youth Recreation Center and appropriating $132,800 has been duly advertised for consideration of passage on final reading by title, and affidavits of publication are filed. The ordinance was posted and made available for public inspection as required by law.
Thank you. May I have a motion to take up the ordinance on final reading by title?
Motion.
So moved.
Second.
I think we have a second and a third. May I have a resolution to adopt or
We have to have
reject?
the public hearing first.
Oh, thank you. This is on second reading, so it's required to have public hearing. Does anyone have any questions on this? Okay, seeing none. May I have a resolution to adopt or reject and advertise the ordinance on final reading by title?
Motion to adopt?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Fine?
Yes.
Councilwoman Foster Dublin?
Absolutely.
Councilman Hirsch?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kim?
Yes.
Councilwoman Welkowitz?
While I believe money should be appropriated to a teen center, I don't think I'd like it to be in the terms of building costs, so I vote no.
It's not 15 seasons. No.
Generator.
For the Senior Youth Center.
I'm sorry, I thought you said something else. Then I vote yes, thank you. I don't have the copy.
Okay. Clerk, could you report on advertising the land use ordinance amendment for consideration of passage on final reading by title?
An ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinances of the Borough of Highland Park, Chapter 230, Land Development, has been duly advertised for consideration of passage on final reading by title, and affidavits of publication are on file. The ordinance was posted, made available for public inspection as required by law.
Okay, may I have a motion to take up the ordinance on final reading by title?
Motion to take up the ordinance. This is for our Safe Walking and Cycling Committee to be able to comment on developers' plans, and this would go far to improve our complete streets policy.
Okay, did I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Public hearing? Seeing none. May I have a motion to adopt or reject the resolution for the advertising the ordinance on final reading by title?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Okay. Roll call.
Councilman Fine?
Yes.
Councilwoman Foster Dublin?
Yes.
Councilman Hirsch?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kim?
Yes.
Councilwoman Welkowitz?
Yes.
We're moving on to the consent agenda. May I have a motion to adopt items 917-265 through 917-279?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Councilman Fine?
Yes.
Councilwoman Foster Dublin?
Yes.
Councilman Hirsch?
I just wanted to point out resolution, 917-266, that this is a recognition of our Highland Park Housing Authority's arrangement in the rental assistance demonstration, which transfers ownership to our 24 family homes at Park Terrace to New Jersey Community Capital, which is a mission-based nonprofit community development financial institution based in New Brunswick. Again, I've said this a million times here, but we're thrilled to have established this partnership. Diane knows how laborious that whole process was, so this is just another step, and I vote yes. To all.
Councilwoman Kim?
Yes.
Councilwoman Welkowitz?
Yes.
Okay, I am appointing Kim Hammond as a regular member to the Planning Board and Rebecca Hand as alternate number 1 to the Planning Board. I'm appointing Julie Luck as the Human Relations Commissioner. I'm appointing Stephen Galante, Cable TV Advisory Committee. May I have a motion to confirm them?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Fine?
Yes.
Councilwoman Foster Dublin?
Yes.
Councilman Hirsch?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kim?
Yes.
Councilwoman Welkowitz?
Yes.
Okay, is there any public discussion? Mrs. Bickard?
Louis Bickard, 307 Magnolia Street. Since you were talking about this street repavings and repairs, I would welcome it that I could cross at 3rd and Magnolia, where I live, safely at the corner, because it's one pothole and one pile dumped on top of another one. So maybe somebody has greater influence than the citizens who live on that block.
Well, I know that our DPW and engineer have been driving around making a list of the worst streets for us, right?
Good, that would be nice. You said something about sidewalks. I'm sorry, I didn't hear too well.
I think Councilwoman Foster Dublin mentioned them.
I was encouraging everyone to utilize the sidewalk as the season change and as it gets darker, not to walk in the streets where they can.
I approve of that. The only problem is the hedges overgrow onto the sidewalks. The sidewalks have clumps missing. It's dangerous. I have reported it. I spoke to the new Scott, I think is his name.
Mr. Brescher,
I didn't know his last name.
the new Scott.
And he told me, send me a list. Well, I've given up on sending the list because that's a waste of my paper and pen.
Well, Borough Administrator, could you follow up with Scott on the list of streets where there are overgrown bushes?
Just alone in my neighborhood. I was going to invite you. 7 o'clock in the morning is a little too early for me because
I changed it from 6:30.
I was going to invite you instead of walking down there by the river. Maybe you would come and walk on the south side with me.
Anytime, any afternoon you're available, let me know.
I'll call you.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see what else here. Yep. I don't see many bicycle helmets. That has seemed, and I saw a youngster just the other day, again, because he was avoiding a hedge. He lost his balance and he fell. So I think you need to do.
So the rules, the rules are that children are required to wear helmets, but adults are not.
They are, but if the parents don't enforce it, we gave helmets away at the.
Yes.
Right, and there'll be some available at our bike rodeo later this month on the 27th, and we hope to be able to educate the population on what's required and what our recommendations are as well.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
In addition to that, Mrs. Pickard, the PBA, the police department, they have also collected helmets, and one of the things that the officers do, if they are driving around, they see a child without a helmet, they have helmets that they do give out, a little bit of education and give out a helmet to the youngsters.
We had the fair there last month.
We've had numerous of them, and we try to encourage the parents to encourage your children to utilize these helmets for their safety.
Councilman Foster Dublin, there's another important program that the police have, which is when they see children on bicycles with the correct protective gear and with the required bell and lights on the front and back of the bicycle, they get awarded a coupon for free ice cream.
Or pizza.
Or pizza, yes.
Or pizza.
Well, you can tell my
We're
preference.
really trying creative ways to get them to be safe.
Thank you. Any other public discussion? All right. Seeing none, I have a motion to go into executive session to discuss litigation issues.
So moved.
Second?
Okay. And I need a motion also to adjourn to conference.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, this meeting is adjourned.